People are on time. I only been off work for like 15 minutes though. That's why I said 8 o'clock would be good because in my little work world, we never get off on time. Uh, Seems to be a lot going on. I've been utilizing YouTube to keep myself busy, checking out some different content creators or whatever. Um, Let me introduce myself again as usual. I'm Dawn. Welcome to my channel. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. So I wanted to talk about recovery this evening, um, and I want to talk about recovery from where I come from. But I'm gonna wait to see if I can get a couple of more people in here because I'm a very punctual person, and that's definitely because I have to be to work at 7 in the morning. So I know I can't be playing around and trying to be on here all night. Considering I still gotta go home, get ready for work in the morning, and at least have a conversation with the kiddos or whatever. But I with another day without smoking was today, Friday. Didn't I say that earlier? I don't know. I stopped counting. Did the same thing when I quit drinking after 90 days. I just kind of just was like, I got today, and that's successful. But yeah, I made another day without smoking. And I'm on my way home. I doubt if I about to be like, oh, let me stop at the store. You know, why are we talking about recovery from quitting smoking cigarettes? It is so crazy how now that I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, Cleveland has some terrible streets. But that's because, we see winners. Uh, like, first it was the drinking where I used to have, like, the anxiety. And I'm sorry if you hear me with all the smacking and chewing this because I'm driving and I popped a piece of gum in my mouth. When I was drinking and smoking cigarettes, because I'm a true alcoholic, I didn't do drugs. It was always that anxiety to try to make it home, in time, even when I used to work 3 to 11. And it used to suck sometimes if I got off too late and could not make it to like the store just to grab me a couple of brews or whatever. So of course I would go to the bar. So I remember when I quit drinking, just kind of looking back, like, come on, lady. It's like she almost slowed down when she realized I needed to get over. Um, so I quit drinking. It was cool. Saida, hey sis, thank you, welcome. So I'm talking about the anxieties. Thinking about from when I quit smoking, and I'm just going over that process. So yeah, I quit drinking, and so I didn't have that anxiety anymore, but I was still being a slave to the Newport Smooth Gold non-menthol because I don't smoke menthol. Well, I didn't smoke menthol. And I just remember having that anxiety. I still had that anxiety of having to make sure I get to the store to get them, or lo and behold, I'm in the house all day and I ain't been outside because I'm an introvert, so I can go a day or 2 or 5 without going outside. But I'm like, dang, I need to get some cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? And oh my God, in the wintertime, it used to be crazy too. But I remember being a slave. I'm sorry, guys. It's construction over by my house. But yeah, I remember just being a slave, and even though it's only been a week, a little over a week, I can sit back and like I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have a reason to stop at the store anymore. Like if I want a Pepsi, because I'm the kind of person when I grocery shop, I try to buy enough. I don't like running back and forth to the grocery store. So I got Pepsi at the house. I got ice cream. I got my brownies. I got candy. I got I have all my necessities. And like I can say for the first time, I don't have that anxiety or that rush of having to make sure I got what I need. I haven't even counted, you know. So far, I know it's a couple of dollars that I done saved since I quit smoking. Cigarettes was what, $8 a pack. I ain't smoked since August 9th or whatever. But I was just sitting here like I don't have to do that no more. And I know I got my shopping issue. I'm working on it. I told you I'm doing a few other different programs and But I have gotten better. Because, people be talking about money and broke and all that. Yeah, I'm spending bands in a day or just blinking, boom, gone. So, yeah, it had got really bad. And, I realized, and my best friend and my sponsor called me out on it. So I'm kind of just like, okay, so I put some things in place to where I have someone else helping me manage my finances right now. Thank you, Shay. I was so happy to hear you go live. I was so happy. You gotta do that more often. So yeah, that is a triumph. Even for those who are still struggling, they might not be drinking or smoking or drugs or whatever. They may be dealing with that nicotine battle. I know. But that anxiety is gone. So the idea of not having to be a slave to that and not having to feel like I gotta rush and do that, or it's some kind of urgency, or even feeling bad that I feel that way. None of those issues I gotta deal with anymore. Feeling that's a great thing. So I can sit back and do that today. I'm right past I live around the corner from the high school. Barbara, hey, I missed you. I'm so happy to see you. It is jumping out here. Okay, motorcycle man, them tight leather pants on. They're having a game up here. My daughter's up here. I don't know where she at though. She out kicking it. She told me this morning. She said, "My, guess what? Look at this. Come on, kid. Fuck. I swear, some of these kids, I be ready to whoop their ass. Okay? This little girl about to tear me up, flying around the corner. So I was about to say something. What? Oh yeah. So she woke me up. No, she got up this morning because I had pushed my time down to 11 instead of 7. So she's like, "Ma, guess what?" I'm like, "What? What's up?" She like, "I got paid this morning. I got paid. I woke up and I got paid." Right? So I'm like, "Oh, that's what's up. Let me hold something." And she's like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "How much you get paid?" She was like, "None of your business." Oh my goodness. She was like, "None of your business." Like, you don't need to know all that, lady. Like, it was so funny though. Um, like, I remember that though. I'm so proud of her. So she out doing her thing. She probably gonna come home with $10 talking about some she need money for school lunch and work lunch, and you know how they do. She gonna come home and need money. Then she gonna say, "Well, it was over 200." And I'm like, "Well, it should be." She's something else. So, but I'm glad. My daughter is a very good kid. My daughter is nothing like me when I was 17 years old. And y'all know I'm agnostic, but I am going to say that I still feel blessed. You don't have to be religious to feel blessed. Let me put my little band up, see if I can make me some money since my daughter was acting funny with her little paycheck. Yeah. See if I can give me a cash app or two today or not. It ain't gonna make no difference, y'all. Y'all know me. So, um, all right, some people in here, so I can kind of start talking about recovery. People do think I'm talking to them. People sometimes on the outside looking in, they think, okay, that you're in recovery. No, first you get sober. First you get sober or clean, right? The terms go interchangeably, but for the most part, drug addicts will, yeah, girl. I try not to even touch on that because then I'll be telling on myself. But for people to think like, okay, you sober, that's it. And that's not it. Um, I remember telling my family that, like, when I first got sober, like the first few months, and I had started my recovery journey, I used to have to remind my family because they didn't understand sometimes why I would be really depressed. I didn't want to get out the bed. I would go through these crying spells. And although I tried not to be very mean or, take my frustrations out on them, on the inside, some days I was dying. After the first week or two, the physical cravings was gone, but the mental aspect of it was still there. And see, that's what we hold on to the longest. That's what is the hardest. The physical aspect, it only lasts but so long. The problem that people in sobriety face is the mental. It's the mental. Um, I just got bit by mosquitoes. It's the whole thinking about it, dreaming about it, living it, thinking about it, dreaming about it, thinking about it, dreaming about it. You know what I'm saying? And it just keeps going and going. And you're thinking about it, and you're dreaming about it, and you're thinking about it, and you're dreaming about it literally, and you see it everywhere, and it's all over the place. And then you get on Facebook and they lit. You get on Instagram and your people lit. You get on Twitter or whatever and it's lit. You cut on TV and you're trying to watch a football game and it's nothing but a party. You, I mean, it's everywhere, you know? So then you find yourself isolated from your family and friends. And that's where the recovery comes in at. Because that's when things you start needing those special hands and those special people. Because you are going to be really in a different world. And you do find yourself becoming isolated and you start missing your family members and all those good friends or people that you thought were friends. Because I'm gonna say that now. Um, Everyone that I know that's in recovery, when they got started getting serious about it and really reevaluating their life, they all realized, and I did too, that hey, Miss Fifi, welcome. Most of them people that they drank or used with, after they got clean, they had nothing in common with them. The only thing they had in common was the fact that they partied, drank, and used. So even those friends, though, you start missing it, and then you grieve it. You know, you grieve the lifestyle. You grieve the feeling of being part of something. And even though it's crazy and it's negative, you still grieve it. And again, that's what I'm gonna say again. That's where the recovery comes in. That because you have to get over the physical pains of getting sober, then you have to start getting over, you have to start working your mental. Not all addicts and alcoholics have serious mental illness. A lot of people, they get, like my dad was one of them. See, somebody saying 20 years and they ended up having what we call a drunk dream, you know? And it doesn't mean that you're going to use. But how my sponsor explained it to me was, like, for me, I drank for like almost 26 years. Okay. I was an alcoholic as a teenager. I can't undo all of that in 6 months, a year, 2 years, or whatever. You can't. So he told me, don't glamorize it, but just accept that that's what's happening. And when I have those dreams or those thoughts or whatever, just to say, okay, you thought about it, but that ain't what you about to do. And you don't have to. I do not have to drink today. And that's how, excuse me, I had just downed some water before I got on. That's how he put it to me. And so I don't feel as bad if it comes across my mind. Some days I don't. I mean, then there's some days like if I'm having a hard day at work or It's really been a long, kind of stressful day. Honestly, I will go back to that. I will. It'll just pop up in my head. Not like I should go drink. Hey, Big O, welcome. Thank you for coming through. But the idea. It's hard to explain, but it's not. I'm not sitting there talking about, oh, I want to drink. It's kind of just like, wow, I remember after a day like this, I will go drink, and then I'll be amazed, like, dang, you know what I'm saying? And so those things are real. So in order to remain sober, you have to have some form of recovery. My One of my sponsees, what I told you earlier, one of my sponsees hit me up and told me she want to go to a meeting. I guess she want to get back on the wagon again. But then another girl I have been working with, she just celebrated a year back in May. She texted me today. She was like, I've been thinking about you. She was like, I know that you're not mad at me because I don't go to meetings or whatever. She was like, but I'm sitting up counting my days and I'm still going strong. And she told me the time. And she was like, I just wanted to tell you that I love you and I really appreciate you. And I know without the shadow of a doubt, if I call you or text you, you're going to answer because you have. So I just want to let you know I appreciate you. And I had to text her back like I always have to and say, listen, it ain't how you get sober and work your recovery or where you go to do it. It's I'm just proud that you're doing it. I'm not going to beat you on top of your head and say, oh, you need to go to meetings if that's not what's working for you. Hey, Demetra. No, girl, you good. I seen that you was live. I'm just happy that you here, my sober sister. You know what I'm saying? And so then she told me what she was doing. She's, taking care of herself spiritually. Yes, you do. She's doing her religious things. She's going to church, doing her Bible studies. She's going to see her therapist. She's taking her meds like she's supposed to. And it's so funny that I was going to do this live about recovery and then I don't like to call them my babies. I call them my friends. That she texted me. And she just told me she was doing good. And, that sponsee she's in her 50s. I only have one younger sponsee. And that's the one I told y'all to keep coming back and forth. My other two sponsees who kind of just do their own thing. One is in their 50s and the other one is in her late 60s. As a matter of fact, her oldest son and I are the same age. So, and that's another amazing thing about recovery is that you end up in those situations where you're mixing with people and dealing with people and getting to know people that maybe you would have never thought or you would never think that you would be in that position. I remember when the one lady asked me to be her sponsor, and I'm like, wait, am I going to see this lady old enough to be my mom? And she told me why she asked me. And we just went from there. So, in a way, she helped me build my confidence. And that's what recovery does for you. Recovery is supposed to be a thing. Exactly, Miss Fifi. And that's what I told her. And I think, too, that those minimum conversations or me just telling her, look, I know what's encouraged, but I'm not going to tell you you're wrong if what you're doing is successful. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how I look at recovery, though. We supposed to help each other grow and we encourage each other. And I want to say something. It's not a thing that in the fellowships or what people are seeing is that we're one addict is bashing another addict or we're being mean or cruel, especially when you talk about people that got so much time. Thank you, Demetra. Like Miss Fifi, do you know how many people she done seen start and stop, come in and out? You know what I'm saying? And how many games people done played? And I'm sure in her beginning, she probably was. She said she was going to meetings every day. So you can imagine how she was out here probably really trying to help a lot of people. and the games they play. And so you get numb. You kind of be like, look, either get on the pot and shit or get off. Even in a big book, it tells you, um, don't waste too much time on someone who's not serious about being in recovery. And we're not banks, we're not doctors, we're not the hotel, we're not the do drop in. It tells us to be careful with people who are not serious, that's being manipulative and playing games. I have never read the NA book, but I'm sure in the NA book they give some kind of references to that, because we all know that NACA and all the other fellowships, they all piggyback off AA, which was the first one. They all have saved so many lives and so many great stories that come from them, but the concept is derived from AA, which comes from the Oxford group. And I'm not going to go back that far. I ain't going to do that. But even in the meetings, we're taught like, hey, right, Demetra, and that's what people don't understand. So when we see something that's crazy, people, they kind of take the back seat and be like, look, I'm gonna do me. But then you do have some people that's gonna call it out and say no, because like, I'm a newcomer just like you are. If I see somebody on some trash and me and you going to the same meeting and I say, no, I'm Demetra, don't fool with them. They ain't serious. And I've had it happen to me plenty of time where I done had girls ask me for rides home and I don't care. I'm like, cool. And then they're like, she's still getting high. This what she do. That's not dogging another addict. That's not being cruel. That's just like when you talk about the 13th step. And it ain't just men that do the 13th step. Women do it too. Where these people are, and it usually happens with people with time, where they're being sexually inappropriate with newcomers. Sometimes it's vice versa. But those are things that we have to protect. Right, right. We have to protect each other from. But we also have to know when to fold them. And then, too, we have to make sure that we're correcting the misinformation. I don't care what nobody say. You got 3 people in recovery from 30 plus years down to 2 years, and my girl Demetra is working on them days. Them days mean a lot. Ooh, I remember them days mean a lot. And it's doable. And we all have something to bring to the table, no matter how much time we got. But it's the seriousness. Yes, congratulations. 49 days, girl. Yes. It's the seriousness about being in recovery, taking care of yourself. Being in recovery is more than just, I'm going to go to meetings, I'm going to get a sponsor, or I'm going to do smart recovery or life ring or whatever. You go on a retreat to India for 6 months, whatever. But in that time frame, it's some other things that need to be worked on. So you need to start getting your physical health together. Go to the doctor, see a doctor, um, get some labs done, get a physical, maybe get some other screenings done, maybe sign up for some psychiatric help. It's other stuff. So you got to start taking care of yourself physically. Because I'm going to tell you, halt, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, that's serious. And it's those little things that can trip us up. So if you're not feeling healthy, you're feeling bad. You're dehydrated, you're deprived of nutrition, you're feeling bad. That's not going to help you. It's not. I don't care how good you dress, what you drive, how much money you got, who your spouse is, how long your hair is, how big your butt is, how small your waist is, none of that. if you are not mentally and physically healthy, your recovery is going to be a shit show. Demetra, I went from 170 pounds to like 190. And so I know. And now I quit smoking. I'm up to 205 pounds that quick. That quick. But I probably gained for some other weight from some other stuff. But yeah, I know. And that's a good thing. Like you're going to start working out. So you're also replacing so bad habits with good ones. And that's another thing in recovery. We replace bad habits with good ones. And that's not to say that we're not going to slip up. It's not to say that we're not going to make mistakes. Because we're definitely going to make mistakes. But if you get in the habit of replacing things, it ends up working in your favor. So you going to work out. For me, I started getting back to reading my books and, watching my documentaries on religion and different things like that. So that I had no time to even focus on the fact that I ain't been out kicking it no more. Different things like that. Yes, ma'am. Sober. There we go. Right there. There we go. Right there. And being physically healthy plays a huge role in your behavior. It plays a huge role. So, like, my first 30 days, I was sick. I was afraid. I was scared. I wasn't sure. Um, I was confused. I just knew I didn't want to suffer anymore. That's what I knew. I knew I didn't want to suffer anymore. 60 days, the same thing. I would be sitting in meetings fighting with myself about, okay, I want to be here. If this same person say the same thing again, because what always got me in these meetings was the people who every meeting had to comment. I would be sitting there. I'm talking about sometimes I would be so agitated, I would be clenching my fist. I wanted to jump out my skin. I did not want to be there. My head was hurting. I was tired. My legs was hurting. And then these people are saying the same thing over and over again. And I got sober in COVID, like that, the brink 2020, when it was still gung ho and stuff wasn't open. So, oh my goodness. And I get it. They help somebody. But when you go into the same meetings all the time with the same people, mm, mm, mm. I used to be sitting in my head like, oh my God. And I didn't want to be there a lot of times, you know. And I would be sitting up fighting with myself. Like I'd be sitting up in an AA meeting and thoughts of drinking would come to my mind. And I'm fighting with myself. I don't hear the comments. If I'm in a speaker meeting, I don't hear the speaker because I'm fighting with me on the inside. I'm grateful every time I'm taking a ride and I don't stop at the liquor store or I don't stop at the corner store because I like beer. I was a beer drinker too. On top of that, yeah. I mean, I would really be like some days driving because like for the first 5 weeks I didn't go anywhere. But yeah, I would be sitting up driving, clenching my steering wheel, like, okay, I just need to make it home. And I would just keep saying a serenity prayer over and over again. So could you imagine me maybe going to a meeting, it was like 15, 20 minutes away, and I'm just sitting there continuously saying a serenity prayer or talking to myself like, all I got to do is make it home. All I have to do is make it home. As long as I make it home, I know I'm not going to drink. If I can make it home and get safely in my bed, I know I'm not going to drink. See, it ain't what people think it is. Stuff like that is why we be so hardcore and gung ho when we start seeing things that don't make sense. Again, let me go back to, in my 2 little years, I've seen a lot going on. So imagine what, when you get around people with lengths of time, what they see. And it's not that they're being hard or harsh, it's just that it's serious. And if you don't want to be take it serious, go. If you like what you're doing, go do it. Let me be available to someone who doesn't want to. Let me be the voice of reason. Let me be the one to call you out. Because it don't matter where you go when it comes to mental health, recovery, or even physical health. If you're doing something wrong, the professional, the practitioner, or even if it's some private, like the fellowships that's free, they're going to address what you're doing wrong. And they're going to hold you accountable. They're going to say, no, that's no, no. They're going to say no. They're going to say no. And it doesn't matter. Your psychiatrist or psychologist or licensed therapist would be doing you a disservice if you went and talked to them and everything that you were saying to them, they agree with. They're doing a disservice to you. If you go to your pastor or your preacher or your sensei, I have to start my car so I can charge my phone. And you telling them, where you stand spiritually, but you like, I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to meditate, and I don't want to pray, and I don't want to do this. And they say, okay, you ain't got to. They're doing you a disservice because that's no. They're supposed to know you need to do this. You should do this. It should never be that easy. So like that's part of recovery. You know what I'm saying? Facing the facts, facing yourself, facing others, facing the hard job, facing the abusive spouse, facing the baby daddy you can't stand, facing your ex-wife, facing that baby mama that don't want you to see your kids, whatever. Facing the fact that you're homeless, facing the fact that you got money and you can't control yourself because you know you got the money and you just like want to throw the money away because you feel like that if you throw the money away then you don't have to use because right. But people thinking we being hardcore, but people know what they doing, and I'm gonna leave that there. See, when we all been somewhere and we done heard something that we don't agree with, we know not to go back there. And that's the stuff. See, and that's the thing. We're not being hardcore. Because I have not one time been cruel to Demetra. I speak about Demetra in damn near every live I do since she's gotten sober and started working on her recovery. She probably even know I was shouting her out because we celebrate sobriety. I didn't work for 8 months. And it wasn't because my sponsor told me or anything. My husband told me not to work. And I, for 8 months, depended solely on him. He wasn't about to give me much because he was so afraid that at some point I would go back out and start drinking. So he was only giving me enough. Like he would prefer to just go get whatever I needed. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, recovery, we celebrate each other in recovery. You know what I'm saying? We don't beat each other down, but we're gonna call a spade a spade. I was thinking earlier about the bouts and phases that I've been through. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because it's people that's listening that hasn't heard it before. I was in recovery. I had made it to my 4th month, and the sponsor I had at the time, it was time to get ready to do that 4th step. I was really progressing, and I was serious because I wanted this so bad. I'm like, I'll do whatever it takes. Oh, yeah. Now, AA is really militant. Like, I tell people, I know people that said they left NA to come to AA because it was much more structured. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, AA old times can be a bit much. But so yeah, I was 4 months sober. I was going to meetings, you know what I'm saying, flourishing. And my sponsor, she's like, okay, it's time to do your 4th step. You know, start writing. I had already did my 4th step with another girl that was sponsoring me, who got upset because I had kind of started getting close to the person that was in Cleveland. And so she was just like, well, you need to let her go ahead and be your sponsor or whatever. Okay. And so I was doing my 4th step again. And it was different because it was a couple of things that I hadn't addressed before that I addressed. And one of those things was my fear was COVID. No, my fear was losing my mom. And my resentment was COVID. And right after I finished writing that down, doing my 4th step, I got a call from the nursing home, and they telling me my mother got diagnosed with COVID. I'm 4 months sober. I need y'all to hear this. I'm 4 months sober, barely scratching the surface of recovery, but I'm doing everything my sponsor told me to do. I'm doing everything my psychologist is telling me to do. I'm doing everything my therapist is telling me to do. And I'm okay. It ain't too bad. I do my 4th step the second time. It was not as bad as the first time. The first time I almost had a nervous breakdown. But it was bad, but it was like, okay. I found out my mother had COVID on December 13th, 2020. And I was reading Demetra's comments. Demetra and let me see if you comments, see if y'all hear me. Get quiet, that's what it is. So yeah, December 13th, 2020, my mother was diagnosed with the coronavirus. December 28th, 2020, my mother died. And on her death certificate, it said the cause of her death was pneumonia related to the coronavirus pneumonia or something. I should know better than that, right? But that's what it says. So basically, COVID took my mother out, and I was 4 months sober. So I done had to deal with a resentment. I done had to face a fear. And okay, we talking about COVID. Thank you, Demetra. I am good. This helps. What I'm saying is going to help somebody, even the clouds, whatever. It might be somebody who lost somebody through COVID and they hear me talk about it. Hi, Grandma Love Nelson. Thank you for joining. Thank you for becoming a new subscriber. Welcome. Welcome. So, yes. So, you heard me say nursing home. So, you know I hadn't seen my mom. Last time I seen her was in January of 2020. I had seen my mother a couple of times on video chat, but I hadn't physically held her hand, hugged her, kissed her, nothing. And when I did hug and kiss her and hold her hand again, thank you, she was on the ventilator, and I was making that decision to tell them to pull the cord because she didn't even have an opportunity. They came to me 2 days before she died and was like hospice. And I'm like, okay, I was talking to my brother. He's a psycho. And And I was just done. I'm like, dude, we need to get her on hospice. It is what it is. By the time we made that decision, we made it the one day, because it took him 24 hours to get himself together. The next day, the doctors called me like, look, we need to do hospice care now. Like, we need to start doing shit. She's not getting better. She's not getting better. And the whole time when she left the nursing home to go in the hospital for the COVID symptoms, when she got the pneumonia, she didn't talk to anyone. I talked to her in the video chat right before she went to the hospital. She was like, baby, I'm sick. This COVID is not getting better. When she got to that hospital that same day, she stopped taking calls from anyone. She wouldn't even take calls if I said it was my kids. That she wouldn't take anybody's calls. So when I finally got to hug her, kiss her, and hold her hand again, it was after they pulled the plug. They gave her some morphine, and she was literally taking her last breaths. And I'm 4 months sober. 4 months of scratching the surface of recovery. I buried my mom, and I rested for one day. And that next day, I called my sponsor. I said, I am ready to do my 5th step. Oh my goodness. Grandma Love. Hello. Thank you. 30 years, that's a whole lot of time. That is a whole lot of time. I'm sure you have a lot of stories to tell, a lot of comments and inspirational things to say. Thank you for becoming a part of my channel. Go ahead, Demetra. Enjoy your meeting. Thank you for coming by. So yes, I went through that. Oh yeah, we're gonna all see each other again. This is a safe place. This is a safe place for people in recovery, and not just recovery, taking care. You know what I say to this day? There is no way I could have dealt with that if I was still drinking. There was no way, because I'm the matriarch when it comes to my family, and I'm the baby. But there is no way I would have been able to deal with all of that while drinking, you know. So I did my 5th step. And now when I tell you I did my 5th step the next week, my mother's homegoing services, because I did have a homegoing services for her, even though she wanted to be cremated. I still had that service for her. I had that service that Sunday, which was January 2nd. That following Tuesday, I was at my sponsor's house doing my 5th step. And she kept saying, you sure you want to do this? And I said, look, ain't no reason to put my recovery on hold now. She was a gift to me. She got to see me sober for them 4 months. And I still have a hard time with that, y'all. But what would be the point in stopping and moping and going through all these things? I want to grieve. I'm cool with that, but I'm still going to keep going in my recovery. Now is the time that I do that. I don't sit back and go in the corner and put myself in a ball and just stop. And so I kept going. I kept going to meetings. Hey, mama. Welcome. Coming out them clouds. I kept going to meetings. I ended up finally going back to work. I just couldn't take it no more. I'm like, look, I can't do this. And the sponsor at the time was like, no, you're only going back to work because you're trying to avoid the issues with your mom. Duh. But I just couldn't take sitting in the house no more. Yes. See, you see what I'm talking about? Grandma Nelson, you see, and that's why I'm saying, like, me telling my story and really sticking to the purpose, you never know what kind of dialogue you're going to get from this. 35 years clean. He passed. Look, 25 years. And she didn't use. She had no reason to pick up. This is what recovery is right here, y'all. This is why, regardless to what was recently said to me and some people I like on here and about me, this is why I'm still doing this. Because of what's going on in these comments. Because life still goes on. You know what I'm saying? And we still have to keep going on in recovery to be able to deal with every trial and tribulation. You know what's crazy? My mother died when I was 4 months sober. When I was 8 months sober, I was in a hit and run car accident. All that time I had been drinking, I was in a lady had hit me in a parking lot. And that was when I first started driving. But I wasn't in no car accidents. I definitely didn't cause any. All that time, I'm out here drunk, driving, all kind of crazy stuff. I get sober and get in a hit and run accident. And they hit me and just sped off. I didn't drink. I went home. I went to the police station, made my police report. I called my sponsor. I talked to him because at that point, and here's another thing, I had to transition from the person that was sponsoring me because it was getting out of hand to someone else. So that's another thing I had to deal with, was a separation from someone. For the first time I had opened myself up to, I did this 5th step. So this person, they know all my secrets. You know what I'm saying? But it was getting out of control. So I just had to sever that. So that's another thing I'm going through too, is that separation. And to some people that might not seem like a lot, but to people in recovery, they know what that separation is. Yeah, see? That's another example. And this is what I'm telling y'all. These are processes in recovery. You go through these things and you sit back and you be like, dang, I went through that and right. We all saying the same thing, talking about something hard that was hard for us. Is that we all done said, I couldn't imagine going through that if I was still using. So like, yeah, I went through that car accident situation. I went home, took a shower, went straight to bed. I woke up the next morning. I got my tail up, put some clothes on, hobbled to my beat up car that I'm still driving because the Most High has humbled me. I hobbled to my car, stuffed myself in the door because remember it was a hit and run. They hit me on the driver's side. I drove myself to the nearest AA meeting. And I sat there and chilled for a minute. I had went to the coffee shop. First we went to the meeting. No, I went to the coffee shop, met my sponsor, seen some other people, talked to my lawyer friend who set me up with his lawyer. And when I say lawyer friend, I mean millionaire friends that I met in AA. Yeah, I have to throw that out there. I millionaire friends that, like, I probably could have did something different and got a better car or whatever, but it's humility, right? When I talked to my millionaire friend, he's a lawyer, he connected me to his family member, blah, blah, blah. Went inside that meeting. When I walked in the meeting, because my sponsor, he didn't fuss at me, but like the women and other people, because they didn't think I was coming, everybody's like, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I was dead yesterday. I need to be here. And I sat through a couple of meetings. Then everybody got the fussing, and then my sponsor was like, okay, you ain't telling me you ain't go to the hospital yesterday. I'm going to need you to go to the hospital. And I'm like, I don't want to. No, you're going to take your ass to the hospital. My sponsor never really tells me what to do. So when he does, yes, 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 Miss Grandma, Miss Grandma. And I want to say something. Although y'all don't know, and we may never meet each other, be thousands of miles away from each other. I don't know if my mom is still here in Ohio or not. But you guys don't know how important it is to have the matriarch women in recovery, since I lost my mom, because I only have one living aunt, and she lives in Pennsylvania, and she's really sick, and she has a lot of mental illness anyway. So like, I don't have anyone. And the people I associated with in the beginning of my recovery, was a lot going on. I'm not going to say that they were terrible people, but we just didn't mesh. And that season I had with them, it ended. Makes sense? I still love those people. I still want the best for them. I still celebrate them in their sobriety. We are still Facebook friends. But to have a direct association is just not going to work. You know what I'm saying? The way they roll and how they do things is just a little different than how I believe in doing things. So, no harm, no foul. But yes, what these ladies are saying in these comments are so true. This is what recovery is. Recovery is getting down on your knees and praying to God every day, asking him to carry you on another day, but in the same token, thanking him. See, when you get in recovery, you don't start praying to God for a man with a big penis. When you get in recovery, you ain't praying for the woman with the best body. When you get in recovery, those prayers change. They tell us those prayers have to change. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Those prayers change. If you Buddhist, those meditations change. Those mantras change. If you Muslim, those prayers and meditations change. Hell, if you're atheist or agnostic like me, I do believe there's a higher power, though. I'm not an atheist. But even atheists, the way they move change. The things that they do to entertain themselves or to help themselves in their recovery, all that changed. Everything changes when you get in recovery, not when you get sober. A lot of people get sober. People that's using and drinking, they get sober all the time. How many times we heard people say, "Oh, I didn't use or drink for 2, 4, 5, 15, 20 years." Or did they tell that story of recovery and it's a whole nother ballgame? That change. I have gotten down on my knees and prayed to God. When my mother died, I prayed to God every day. I didn't know, some days didn't know how to do nothing but say, "God, please don't let me drink today." And I knew that I didn't believe in religion, but that's what carried me through. Because that's why I call myself an agnostic. Because I don't believe in religion. Do I believe that there is something that created us, blah, 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 all that stuff? Yes. But I do not believe in religion. But that didn't stop me from praying. I still say the serenity prayer. I've sat and said the serenity prayer with atheists. And these atheists, the few that I know, they've been, oh boy, these kids have got out and got to cutting up. I see police lights. Look at me. I'm getting old. Y'all know I can't be live without acting the fool. Y'all know I be cutting up. Right. Hey. Hi, my friend. I'm smiling from ear to ear now, y'all. But yeah, so what was I talking about? Not the kids with the police. Y'all see how I'm telling y'all, ear to ear. I always smile from ear to ear when I communicate with you. I ain't worried about these people. They all the way to, well, they on the other side of the high school anyway. And this high school is huge. It looks like a college. But I forgot what I was talking about. I always do that. I know some people be listening like, this chick is crazy as hell. No, yeah. Recovery is about surrender. It's about giving up. It's about admitting you're powerless. It's about giving help. It's about receiving help. You know, I'm going to tell y'all how serious recovery is to me. You see, a day from now, I get on live or go on somebody's panel because I'm trying to branch out, or do something. And Miss Fifi, yes, yes, I'm agnostic. And Miss Fifi get on there, or she send me a message or something to say, what, LaDon, you was on some trash. We don't do that. I might not like it, but I'm gonna tell you how serious recovery is for me and how much respect I have for the pioneer women in recovery. I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna think about it. Maybe she was right. Maybe she wasn't. How am I gonna take that? You know what I'm saying? I am gonna have to evaluate myself because y'all looking at me. Y'all listening to me. I'm not, looking at y'all for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that's out here for everybody to see. Grandma Love, I already know Grandma Love gonna be in my ass if I do something wrong. And Quiet Storm, we go back some years. So I already know now that she knows what's going on. I know she's gonna be in my ass, but y'all ain't gotta worry about me because those parts of me I have gotten away from even earlier. I did like a little quick live before work where I had noticed some things, and just leave me alone. I don't want no beef. I don't want no smoke. I don't want none of that. You might not like what I'm doing. You think I'm trying to shade somebody? That's absolutely fine. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I'll leave you alone, and that's gonna be that. So I got a message the guy that I did the podcast with. I don't know what's going on. He hasn't put out any other content. I said I was gonna message him today, but work, whatever. I might still send him a message and see, just make sure he's okay. You know what I'm saying? Because things happen all the time. But I still kind of tell y'all my story anyway. But yeah, that's what recovery is about. Recovery is so serious for me that if somebody hit me up on Instagram and said, I really need to talk to you, I'm going to send them my number. I'm going to have a conversation with them. I'll Zoom chat with them. I'll do a FaceTime or whatever. If they serious about what they need, I'm going to extend myself. I'm an open book. I've sat in meetings and was doing speaker meetings where the women to men ratio was me and 2 other women in a room full of men. And when I say full of men, I mean like at least 10. And I've talked about the abuse I went through. I've talked about a lot of things, the hypersexuality. I talked about that. I'm an open book. I ain't got nothing to hide. Trust me when I tell you, I didn't humiliate myself a lot. So, like, I'm not worried about being doxxed or whatever. I ain't got no record. Money talking, bullshit walk, don't it? Right? So, that's just how open I am. That's the point of me being on here. That's the point of me breaking the traditions, y'all, is to be available. Yeah, I know I put all that stuff in my description. I know it's always there. Please, I don't care if you want to copy it and share it on your stuff. Please take it. It's not mine. I don't own it. Go ahead and copy it and take it. I joke a lot. Don't copy my style. Nah. Don't no. You can't copy what come from Cleveland. But the information, please do what you gotta do with it. It's so funny because when I got off work, I was gonna let you guys see me in my work stuff, right? But it was hot. I was like, yeah, I can't. I was just ripping it off. So one day I will let you guys see what I look like at my weekend job. Because like I be having COVID patients and stuff and whatever. And then my school job, I'll be with the baby. So it's just a different environment. But I want y'all to see how I be like sitting up for 12 hours with my prescription glasses on and then an N95 mask and then a face shield, and then sometimes if they got like C. diff or something and I got to put on a whole nother outfit. It's real. So, but I'm going to tell you what recovery did for me while I'm speaking about that. Thank you, Ryan. I had to reach out the comment, but I'm going to tell you, I am able to deal with people that's dying just like I did before. I'm able to deal with the COVID situation. Oh, that's cool, Miss Fifi. Go ahead. All that stuff you see, them channels you see that I have in my channels list, go check that stuff out. I'm able to do those things. And I remember when I had first went back to work, my spouse, he was like, "Are you gonna be okay?" Because I deal with a lot of death. And I'm like, people die. I took an oath. I took the Florence Nightingale oath. I can't. Right now, people need staff like me more than ever. At work, I'm telling y'all, I was just at work doing a cha-cha with one of my new admissions. Because we were talking about, oh, my legs weak. So I started, I'm like, can you cha-cha? And he in the wheelchair, he's like, I don't know. And so we was doing a cha-cha and laughing. That's what I took the oath. Sometimes I feel like, why I take this oath? Oath. Okay, let me see. Fifi says she takes all my stuff. Ross says she's proud of me. I'm glad you don't mind being doxxed, because talking behind the scenes with snakes online will get you and yours doxxed properly. As far as being doxxed goes, I think that's more offensive if you're in that lifestyle, if you're in that environment, because it is truly a couple of people on here that could truly dox me, like Quiet Storm, and it's a couple of other two content creators we've been Facebook friends for some time, like over 5 years. One of them has been over a decade. The other one, I know it's been at least 5 years, but these people, they could dox this shit out of me. Okay? But I'm not worried about that. I'm really not. I mean, if you want to show my ugly pictures from Facebook or whatever, I don't know what to tell you. Working on the environment helps. Yeah, yeah, I'm telling you. So, like, I don't shy away from that. My father, when I first got sober, because I told you my father is in recovery. He got 17 years and he got sober. Let's see, my daughter's 17 years old. He just turned 68. So I let y'all do the math on that. He was later in life, and he did it. Um, he told me, he's like, I when I first got sober, he's like, you're gonna do big things. You're gonna do big, and I didn't know what he was talking about at the time. He was like, you're gonna do big things. You're gonna touch a lot of lives. He's just like, you just don't know. And I guess it's coming into play slowly but surely. Oh my goodness, I remember the words. I got the Florence Nightingale book. Yeah, I still do nursing care like they did back in the day. Like, I put people on the toilet if they need it. If we short staff, somebody to shower. As long as my nursing work is done, I put myself out there. I get baths, I comb hair, I put people on the toilet, I change diapers. I still do all of that. Yes. Yeah. So what I have done too is I just realized too that I maybe need to do like some Al-Anon. Um, so I have been. I've done 2 meetings, and I actually got a book from Al-Anon. So I am going to try to incorporate that. Some people might understand. I just said my father's in recovery. So I am a child of an alcoholic, and alcoholic is prevalent in my family. I am not a night nurse anymore. I'm a day shift nurse now. I can. Yes, I can. You know what, Fifi? I ain't playing with you. Fifi is something else, y'all. I don't know who was watching her yesterday. Her and Buddy Lee was having a conversation about food. Child. I was in there reading the comments like, what is they doing? But I do not do back rubs. Y'all messing with me. I used to be a night nurse. Yeah, so I am gonna look into Al-Anon a little bit, and it's not just about my dad, because my dad, oh Lord, I know. Um, it was times where he wasn't around, which is okay. I get it now, but like I had uncles, like they were like nasty alcoholics, nasty not alcoholics. You gotta, yeah. They were nasty drunks. And so, you know, them cussing and cutting up and acting a fool and going crazy, that's traumatic. That's traumatizing to kids. It might not seem like it, but it's traumatizing. And when I look back, I think about that. Like how my one uncle, he used to call my one aunt, she was very sickly. She was a dialysis patient, so she didn't date or anything. And he's always like, you need a man. You need some DICK. You know what I'm saying? Just nasty to her and call her all kind of fat, nasty this and fat. And I was trying to like, it was sick. So, yeah. Um, I can't work. Well, I work second shift sometimes, but I don't work night shift anymore. And the reason I don't do that is because that's another thing I had to change. Because all I did was work second shift and nights. And of course, getting off at 11, 12 o'clock, you know, the first thing I was doing. Okay. And I did that for years. So, again, in recovery, I switched everything up. I will not work night shift. My job right now, on top of what I make, pays an extra $25 to $40 an hour for any nurses that pick up. You hear me? So I work with an RN that already makes. She's been an RN for a while, and you know the pay rates are crazy now. When she works night shift, she says she makes almost $100 an hour, and we're not travel nurses. Do you know? Well, where I'm at now, it's not like that. You still got your baby boomers and your grandmas and grandpas. But some of the facilities I work at, especially when you talk about like in the inner city of Cleveland, 75% of the patients, residents, whatever you want to call them, are usually ex-alcoholics and drug addicts. They're not your typical grandma and grandpas in a wheelchair. They don't even have gray hair. They be, I'm talking about, and I'm not making this up. They be between the ages of, let's say, 45 and 70. And in this day and age, 70 years old is not old and decrepit. I work with 70-year-old staff members, but they be young. And they be sitting in there, done had a stroke, hand can't move, can't do nothing, and they still be trying to drink and use drugs. It be that serious. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they still be having a man come. Like, I done had patients, stroke patients, using they messed up, decrepit arm to shoot up in. And you be thinking, like, what is going on? And they'll be like, this to get armed because we ain't doing too much. Don't nobody mess with it. I've seen patients who had IVs use their IVs to shoot up. Some of this stuff happened before I quit drinking. Some of this stuff has happened since you know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing for me to be working at a facility and you go outside and they having a party where they smoke cigarettes. So they smoking cigarettes. You're going to smell some weed. You're going to see some cans of old English being passed around. You might see somebody fall out their chair. You got to go out there and pick them up. It's crazy. It's crazy. So when you see these things, the psyche behind it, you know what I'm saying? When some of these people, when y'all see them just being outraged, that psyche behind it, when you got to work around this. I've been in places where if I had 25 people, only 5 of them was old people. Only 5 of them was in there for natural causes. Everything else, and I'm serious because I've been here, and everything else was alcohol related dementia. Yeah. So like, and even being in recovery dealing with those things, it just hit different. I'd be like, oh, my uncle in a nursing home, he, I think like 61 or 62 years old. And he been in a nursing home for some time. He went in a nursing home before my mom went in a nursing home. And my mother wasn't a drinker, though, by the way. She was not an addict. Only thing she was addicted to was nicotine and mental health issues. That was her thing. She was a hypochondriac for real. But yeah, my uncle had a stroke. Well, yeah, he had a stroke, then he had a seizure, and the seizure took him out. And so now he's sitting up in the nursing home. He's one of those people. Oh, thank you. It's okay. I appreciate you guys' condolences, but trust me, I'm talking to y'all with a smile on my face. So yeah, that a lot of those things are tied into recovery, and only through actively working on recovery are people like myself with 2 years. You see Demetria, she said she had 49 days today. You know, some people can't even draw a sober breath for 49 minutes. Yeah, he had COVID. He's still here. My uncle had COVID, and come to find out, they had COVID around the same time. Do you do you know how crazy this is? My mother, I buried her in January. At the end of February, my father caught COVID. He made it through. He still be getting them nerves now. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, yeah, we Demetria, her 49 days. Shout out to her. You know, that recovery, it hit different. You know, you sit with people that got 30 plus years of recovery. Recovery, y'all. Ups and downs, trials and tribulations, death, illness, pain, all that. Yes, please do. I don't think I have any mods in here right now, and I can't make nobody a mod because I'm on my phone. Because I know I need to make Quiet Storm a mod. Right, I don't know. Did I make you a mod? Anyway, so yeah, check out her channel. She's fun. I like her energy. She's like really fun. I like that about her. But yeah, that's what recovery is, I mean, and it's not easy. It's not easy at all. I get it. And I do understand why some people they can't make it, you know. They make that conscious decision to relapse. But it's only so much relapsing you gonna do before people start they just like, I'm done. I'm cool. I've heard stories about, I mean, some of the stories I've heard, it's just like, oh my God. And people talk about how they kept relapsing and their parents just kicked them out. And they were sleeping in bandos and stuff like that. It gets real. See, on the outside looking in, people only going off what they think they know. You go sit at a couple of these meetings and hear some real stories. Like one of my closest male friends in sobriety, who's man was just, he's such a great guy. Um, he was literally the dude in the tan coat with the brown paper bag up under the bridge. He was literally living up under a bridge and eating out of dumpsters. Hi, Sticks girl. Thank you for coming. Thank you for hopping down and speaking. Welcome to my channel. Even the painful parts. I'm gonna tell y'all, some people might say that's crazy. Even the painful parts of recovery, I get to enjoy. And when I look back at each episode and each experience, I'm like, I got through that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what's up. I got through it. Because there's been times I wouldn't get out the bed for a week. I would like, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't like shower or take care of myself, but I would literally like, get up, eat, maybe take a shower, and I'm just in the bed. You know, it would be times like I went through phases where I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't talk to my sponsor. I wasn't going to meetings. I wasn't really doing anything. And they talk about that. You do get through them dry spells. And it was miserable. I wasn't doing Zoom meetings. I wasn't doing nothing but watching Signetter TV. I'm serious. Watching Signetter TV. I do this for the people. And it's okay because I got through it. I'm still here. I ain't drank. I'm still working on my recovery. So it is real. I get it. But the results, I'm thinking about the one slow song. What is it? Signet Studio. He always be having some crazy songs, man. I swear I wouldn't laugh so hard because now I'm thinking about Shaka Amos with his music videos. Okay, get myself together. I'm talking about recovery. Some of these people don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about recovery, and then Shaka Amos pop up in my head. That is not a good mix. Mm-mm. But yeah, so that's what recovery is. It's a struggle, but it's worth it. It's worth it when you can see people change their lives. Yeah. Oh, Egypt was a black. Bye. Right, get on up out of here. Bye. I'm done. My daughter just sent me. I'm still in the car. My daughter just requested something. I'm gonna pull out my iPad and go ahead and accept it for her because she ain't gonna leave me the hell alone. Sinetta Studios. A bunch of people done went live. I done got a bunch of text messages. My best friend texted me. Um, oh, right, you are in mine. Why you didn't tell me that? Right, what is that new picture you got? Right. Mm. See, when you say strapped, I think of something else. It's not good to tell me you're strapped. But I go somewhere else with it. Yeah, I go somewhere else with it. So yeah, I stopped looking at the comments. I'm looking at something else. Look, my mama, my mama, my internet mama that came out the cut. She about to say, "Don't even don't. I'm gonna be good. I promise. I'm gonna be good." I promise y'all it'll be good. But there she goes, so now I can make her a mod. Oh, I like it. I didn't I didn't go to rehab. I detoxed on my couch. I did not go to rehab, but I did, I do have a therapist and all that. So I did the mental health aspect, but I didn't go to rehab. I really didn't even know much about it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It wasn't, I was told to go detox, but I was not told to go to rehab. So my thumbnail is so cute. I get to see it and the way my iPad is set up. I'm live and it's huge. And like the colors, like right now I'm on, first I was on the purple thing, then I went on pink, and then I went on like this brown tan color thing. Now I'm on orange and I'm just loving it. It's cute now that I can see it. I be swearing up and down, like I be making my thumbnails and I was like, I don't think I did good. Thank you. Yeah, I be making my thumbnails, y'all. I'm sitting up here running my gas out. Y'all better be lucky I have a job. Or I got a daughter with a job. Thank you. I started my locks off and my hair was very short. I was because I was wearing a fade and then I started letting it grow out and then I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna lock it up. And so yeah, I started growing my locks. My hair was barely over an inch long. Thank you. Um, you know what's funny though, Miss Fifi? You know how many people that pull me to the side when I talk about that, and they're like, "You shouldn't talk about not going to detox or not going to rehab because it gives the newcomer the wrong idea." And the last time somebody said that to me, I looked at them. I said, "Well, if they're here in this meeting, they have at least detoxed." You know what I'm saying? Like they at least then made it 24 hours without using or drinking. It was so funny. And then one day they just looked at me and scoffed. Like, well, if they're here in this meeting, I'm quite sure they did they at least a little 3 days of detox. Whether it was at home or in the hospital, whatever. If they was living in a sub living house, whatever it was. If they here, 9 times out of 10, they didn't detox. Because I had just got to the point where I got tired of the people shunning me and coming at me crazy because anytime they hear I'm an agnostic, I mean they would just be doing daggers. Yeah, actually, I know a couple of people that are Jehovah's Witnesses, and they were, out here bad, and they went got into all that, and they clean. Whatever works, as long as the person is no longer sick and suffering. Yep, the people cutting up. Mm, mm, mm. While I'm looking at that, since I'm on my iPad, let me check my daughter. I don't know if she's still there. Oh, my baby just texted me and said she see me. I told Jessica I was going live tonight, y'all, and she was like, "Well, I want to I want to be in there." And I was like, "Well, Jay, you can't be in this one because we're going to be talking about grown folk stuff." And she's like, "You're going to be talking about recovery. It's not like I don't know about AA." And I've read the big book and I've been to AA meetings. So I know what you're going to be talking about. And I've heard your story about all the bad stuff you used to do when you were drinking. You know what? The only time we hear sirens is when they have a sporting event, and these and I hate to say this, and I hope don't nobody get offended, but these ghetto black kids get up in here and they don't even be from where we from, and they come up here cutting up, starting fights and stuff. Jessica is something else. I'm gonna have to send you some pictures of Jessica. Not only is she something else, she looks just like her dad. My daughter is gonna say, I said, "Where you at?" She gonna say, the game. Oh yeah, Jessica gonna try to tell me, y'all, that she can be in live because she know what recovery is. Because I'm very honest with my kids. Like when I was going to meetings tough, I took my daughter. I just used to let it go. Kari, it was a hit or miss, but I took them to meetings with me. Oh yeah, yeah, and like the city I live in, it's a really nice place, but like I said, these kids, these people ain't raising their kids right, and then they get up here and they want to cut up and act the fool, and then they want why they get harassed or their kids get harassed. Raise your children right. Jessica is the baby. She's 8, and then Kari is my oldest daughter. She's 17. Yeah, Jessica is the one that y'all hear that be talking about hola everybody cutting up. Yeah, that's the baby. It was so funny. I was at work today, and the guy that was trading me was someone I had already worked it with before, and he had finally just had a baby. He was talking about like, yeah, I'm only 32, and I was like, you only 32? So he's been a nurse since he was really young, because I've known him for like 9 years. No, I want to say 7. I'll take that back. It was about 7. And he was like, yeah, what's wrong with that? What you what, 33? I'm like, add a couple of years to that. He was like, stop lying. I was like, yeah, I'm almost 40. You know what? And a lot of people get offended by what I say, but I only say what I know. I grew up in a poor household, but my people ain't playing no games. Hold up. I'm done with these people. That's why I ain't going in the house. So I text my daughter and I'm like, she's like, I'm at the game. And I'm like, what's going on? Because it's chaos outside. And then my husband texts her, have fun, baby girl. And she's like, thanks, dad. That's why I don't deal with these people in my house. I don't deal with these humans. I don't deal with them. You see how disrespectful they is? It's kids running amok, the police flying up and down the street, and she saying she at the game, and he telling her to just have fun. I guess I'm just not gonna even respond, right? I'm gonna just shut up and stay in my place. That will probably be the best thing to do, right? Because he done spoke. Shoot. But you know what? That's another thing in recovery. That's because Dawn, when she was drinking, who will probably be drinking right now, that would have went all bad. I would have been talking all kind of nonsense, and then she would have had to bring her little tail home just because he said what he said. And it'll be you need to come home, and who the hell you think you is, and I'm trying to make sure she's safe. It would have just been all bad. I would have turned that into right. I would have turned that into a whole nother thing, But now just she said she's safe. He said have fun. I'm just sit in the car and continue to talk to y'all. Because I told y'all I was gonna stay to 10. It's 9:30. So well, I mean the police came, so whatever it was, they got it up under control. At this point now it's just people driving like lunatics. I love to see the Jewish people when they go to games because they don't drive. It's a lot of Orthodox Jewish people here, and they allow their kids to play sports or whatever. Some of them do. Some of them send them to the all Jewish school, but some of them let them intermigo. I guess it just depends, but they're still Orthodox, and they be walking up and down the street. They'll speak. Hi, how are ya? Looking good. I like your yard. Yeah, she cool. She all right. Like I said, it's usually when it's drama and chaos, it's usually kids that's not from our area. Oh, look at what her little cheerleaders. Oh, their little colors is cute. The school's colors, they're like white and gold and blue. I don't know. Okay, see, I didn't go to high school. High school was too young for me. Like, they was kids. I need to be with the grown folks in the bars, in the clubs, you know. I need to be with the people that could get me where I couldn't go by myself. And it wasn't in high school. It just wasn't that. I didn't go to high school. Yeah, it's a lot of Middle Eastern people. It's a lot of African people. Like Ohio, where I'm from in Cleveland, it's like a melting pot. Cleveland is. Akron tends to be a melting pot. Columbus is a melting pot. Hi, Miss Pam. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Miss Pam, a view, y'all, is hilarious. A view is a view. She is hilarious. If y'all not following her, go follow her. Let me see. I want to do that round. So can somebody share hers and share each other? Like, she is hilarious. She had me cracking up talking about boobs yesterday. I was just and let me tell you something about boobs, because I wear a 38G. So when we get to talking about boobs, and that's why I try not to be on cam or like, because these bad boys, everybody noticed them. Like, when I was younger, high school age, all the high school boys and like young like dudes that was like 18, 19 years old, they used to call me Dolly Parton. Yeah, yeah, they big. And so yeah, I just try to keep them out the camera, because then somebody else can probably be like, see, she trying to show her boobs. Like, I ain't trying to show these heavy ass things. I swear I'm not. I swear I'm not. I mean, yeah, it's okay. I'm doing all right to be a plus size girl. It all kind of go together. My fupa and everything, they play well together. Miss Pam, I hope that I am as agile and flexible and able to move like you was doing yesterday, to be what you say you just celebrate your birthday, you turn 61. Yes, you do. And you're a very thin lady, so like with taller women, height takes over with. Um, I'm kind of not allowed to do any plastic surgery. I had to fight tooth and nail to be able to do LASIK. And to get the strabismus surgery. Because my husband was like, there's nothing wrong with your eyes. You're beautiful. And I'm like, I'm sick of these eyes. I can't see. The one is lazy because the other one is blind. Like, I'm sick of these eyes. You ain't got to live with these eyes. These are my eyes. And I want to fix them. Yeah, but he was fine. He was like, no, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. What you think you just want to do that because you can afford it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't drink no more. I can afford a lot of stuff. You don't need to do that. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm not asking you to pay for it. So, no, I'm telling you, girl, when I'm 61, I want to be able to be playing some back that thing up. And yeah, and I've been comfortable with it all my life. It's kind of like what it is. But I feel like if I'm going to get LASIK, I might as well just get that done too, because they already going to be messing with them. But I don't care. I mean, whatever. But yeah, yeah, she was cutting up. She was dancing, y'all. I was just looking at her. Really? Well, they keep saying that for me, but I'm gonna be honest with you. With all this COVID stuff that's going on, it is a monster wearing glasses and with all the masks and stuff, especially if I'm on a COVID unit and I gotta pile up all that stuff on me and I cannot take my glasses off. I have to wear them, and I don't like poking my finger in my eyes. I don't like wearing contacts. So yes, I'm gonna have to shake. So I mean, I'm willing to take that risk. Her outfit is cute. My neighbor is grown as hell, and she looks like a little kid. She don't speak to me though. I guess she think I'm funny acting. I'm not funny acting. I'm just a introvert. Yeah, Miss Pam was cutting up. She had me bobbing my head. I am gonna do it. I mean, I'm 38 or almost 39. What good is it gonna hurt? It ain't like I'm going to get a BBL. Even though I was thinking about getting liposuction. And my best friend and my husband was like, "You done lost your damn mind." And I'm like, my best friend, she had the gastric sleeve done, but I get it. She did it for health reasons. My eye stuff is for health reasons. My liposuction is because I want liposuction. Like, I want the easy way out. And then I was sitting up because I was listening to this young girl the other day talk about how she done already had a tummy tuck. She done had the BBL. She was lazy and didn't keep up with it. Now she talking about she about to go do another tummy tuck, and she gonna get her arms done. And I'm just looking like, so some of these girls, they just feel like every time the surgery, they gain a little weight or something, they could just go back and get it done again. What do you mean they look bad? Like, you think that they do too much with it? Oh man, those BBLs are a mess. And what gets me is the girls that these girls be like a size 5, and they go get these BBLs and they want a butt that's like a size 12. So it's like you just taking something and sitting it on top of your legs. I do know a few girls though that have gotten it and they look good, but they were already kind of curvy. They may have just had more hips and a flat butt. So it kind of worked in their favor. And then the one girl I know that got it, she didn't do anything extreme. She just did, she wanted, because she had a breast reduction. So she was like, well, she wanted to get the lipo because it looked crazy. And it did. She looked very weird after she got the breast reduction. So she was like, they offered to do the BBL and it wasn't too much more. So she just went ahead and got it. But like, honestly, you couldn't have told me that that was what it was. She just looked curvy because her butt didn't look crazy big. But she, it just looked, she had it plumped up. And then when she showed me pictures of her before, oh yeah, she had a pancake. She had a pancake, baby. You see her from the front, curvy, looking like she hips. Then you see her from the back, and she's a pancake. Miss Fifi, I bet you do be, you probably walking around with a commode choker. Yes, it is a very deadly procedure. That is true. I mean, not only, it's just like for me, like I said, liposuction for me, I have always had a bigger stomach. I have big breasts, so you don't really eat, kind of hides it. But even as a kid, I had like a stomach. I've never been a skinny child person. I've never been, well, now I'm of course obese, 205 pounds, I'm 5'2", but I've never been a skinny person. And so I've always had a stomach. Even when I was smaller, I just never had a washboard. I'm gonna be honest, never had one. So for me, getting liposuction would kind of be that because I've never been able to get a flat stomach. Um, But then to me, I don't think I would get lipo to the point where I'm snatched because my breasts are big and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to, I passed that Dolly Parton stage in my life. But yeah, that BBL stuff, it is fatal. And then not only that, like you risking it being messed up, and then you gotta do all this stuff. You gotta get all these massages and wear all these apparatuses, and look, that's too much to have a fat butt. Let me tell you something. A lot of men don't like all that, believe it or not. A lot of women don't either if you're into that lifestyle. I mean, these people out here thinking doing all this butchering to themselves is making them more appealing, and it's not. And even if the person don't know and then they find out that's what you've done, I've heard seen where guys feel like they felt like they was being tricked. They felt like they was being lied to because they're just like with the makeup. And I tell people all the time, all this beating your face up that comes from drag queens. They've been doing it forever. Then women kind of it transitioned over to women doing it. But drag queens was doing all that beating of the face and transforming the face and contouring. That comes from drag queens. But like a lot of men, even with that, we all know a lot of them feel like they've been tricked. Like, is this one African channel I be watching? Double rainbows. Hello, I love your name. I love, love, love rainbows for several reasons. I ride the rainbow. I used to ride the rainbow. I used to think I was the biggest lesbian in the world. I am still bisexual and I'm open about it. But I just love rainbows. I love the rainbow Care Bear. I like rainbow clothing. I've just always liked rainbows. I liked rainbows before I even knew what the rainbow meant. I just like rainbows. So I absolutely love your name. And thank you for tuning in and even dropping down to say hello. I really appreciate it. You're making me smile with all these rainbows. And you see what rainbows do for you? Rainbows, you had me out here saying how I thought I was a lesbian and how I'm bisexual. See how you just learn stuff about people? Now everybody gonna be walking around. They're gonna be saying stuff something like that old dyke over there. Because I've been catching some people talking crazy. I know that, right? I've been catching it. I don't care. So, rainbow, welcome. And you're double rainbows. I love it. If I knew you, I would hug you. Oh, wow. That is so cool. What was your spiritual revelation, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry about the rap music playing. My neighbors, was Friday, so people are going to have fun. And I think they having a party because I see a bunch of people walking back. Yeah. I love hugs. And I'm squishy, so people like hugging me. Like, I know when I go in the house, the first thing my daughter's going to do, as soon as I take my clothes off, she's going to start squeezing on me. And I breastfed my kids. So anybody know about breastfed kids, they know they have a serious fixation for your breast. I'm not trying to just talk about breasts, but it's the truth. It's really hard for young boys because they I've seen people, boys 5, 6 years old, still trying to squeeze. And I'm, girl, if you don't whoop him. So yeah, she be squeezing on me, my stomach, my legs. Oh my gosh. 15 years of 12 steps. Hold on. Okay. I was about to try to highlight it on my, I gotta do it from my phone. Look at that. 15 years of 12-step meetings. All the seeds planted finally all came together like jigsaw puzzle. Another sister in recovery. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I definitely love you now, rainbows. So I'm gonna send you virtual hugs. Let me give you a virtual hug. Let me pull up my emoji so I can give you a virtual hug. Yes. And I think that's too for me, which is I think why I did not go to rehab or detox, is because even though I didn't know anything about AA, I knew that my daddy had went. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll see what that's about. Because I had no other options. I had been to IOP years ago, but I wasn't. I've never been quarter day or anything like that. I had went because it was recommended by my doctor. Because I went to the doctor and said, "Hey, doctor, I'm depressed and I think I'm drinking too much," and that's what they recommended. I didn't even finish the IOP. I did it for like maybe 2 months. I hadn't drank for 4, but I only did the IOP for like 2 months. So I get it. The seed was planted with him. I still don't know his recovery journey in the beginning, his beginning years. But he planted the seed and it was just like I knew it worked for him. Yeah, it's crazy because I have a girl that I'm work well, I'm not working with her, but she's been back and forth, and that's another demise for a lot of people before they get in recovery. I'm glad that you're talking about that, and hopefully, some people can get to read that and see, because this is the hardcore. The testimonies that you're seeing in my chat are the hardcore testimonies, and everybody's journey in recovery is different. It is so beautiful to see that. Thank you for being open and talking about that. Yeah, thank you for talking about that, going to court and different things, because I've heard that a lot too. People come to meetings in the beginning. Why is South Euclid here? I'm telling y'all where I live at. Look at that. But before they really realized that about sponsorship. Yeah, I was talking about sponsorship yesterday. Like, I do have 2 people that I officially sponsor, and the one girl who keeps coming back. But all the other people that was interested in me, I found them other people to sponsor them. I meant to tell y'all, I have a tongue ring and I have my lip pierced. So sometimes if you hear extra noise like click clacking, you might be hearing my piercings. Yes, I read that. You would not believe, like, I keep saying I'm gonna have to share my books. I have every edition of the big book except the second one. I have the first one, I have the third one, and I have the fourth one, of course. I have the book about Marty Mann. I have child. I have the Little Red Book, and then a Little Red Book for women. I have the book by Sister, what is her name? Agatha. I have the book about Bill W.'s wife. I have the book about Bill W. Um I have all of them, it seemed like. Every time I would go to central office, I would buy a book. Came to Believe, One Day at a Time, Daily Reflections. What's the other little black one? I can't think of it now. Um, 24 hours a day. Like, every time I go to central office, I buy a book. Well, you know what, Miss Fifi, I come from that area. I'm a millennium. Well, I'm not a millennium, a millennial. So I got 21 tattoos. I got piercings. I have piercings that I've taken out. Yeah. And see, I think I'm glad that you know that, because a lot of people don't, and they get so codependent, but that also falls back on the sponsors who tend to be codependent. They are codependent. So they teach their sponsees to be codependent, and it just keeps being this toxic cycle of codependency. And addicts and alcoholics have to be very careful of that, because that's a huge thing for us. um Even when we're still using, and after, is that codependency. So I'm glad you know that, because I was taught that as well. My first sponsor, she had that codependent stuff, but my male sponsor, he'll be on that. He'll be like, okay, he'll call me, text me if he haven't heard from me, but he does not make me feel down or bad about anything, and he doesn't hound me, and he definitely don't want me to hound him. Now if I call him, he gonna be right there. But yeah, I'm glad you guys have that, because a lot of people don't. And so when they see me coming in, the first thing they say is, you don't know nothing, you ain't got enough time, you don't know this, you don't know that. And I'm like, I don't have time, but my sponsor has 37 years of sobriety. And so he's teaching me not to make the same mistakes he made early in sobriety, because he used to tell me how when he first got sober in the first few years, how he would be riding around looking for his sponsees, picking them up, making them get in the car. Like, he would go find them at the dope houses, and at the bars and after hours. And oh man, he's so funny. But I know at some point I'm gonna have to find me a female sponsor. But I don't trust nobody. I'm be honest with you. I don't trust nobody. Maybe I'll find one out of time. Because what's going on here in Cleveland with these big book Bible thumpers ain't gonna work for me. I know it's somebody in the closet from Cleveland like, this lady got some nerve. Yes, I have heard some of the most incredible comments. The last time I went to a meeting, it was some comments from a newcomer, and I was just like, that's what I needed. So like now when I go to meetings, people don't understand, like, I may not go to meetings for a month or so, or 2 or 3, and then I'll go to a meeting and it's like one of the best meetings I have been to in a long time. I get so much out of it versus if I'm going all the time. Oh wow, you have an excellent sponsor. Fifi is cool people though. She is. You got a really great sponsor. I like her that she has a lot of discernment too. She has a lot of discernment. Um, what I've learned, you do have those people in recovery, they're like just marshmallows, and they soft, and they're codependent, and they want to be these vigilantes, and they want to save everybody, and they want to hug them and coddle them, and all that, and they get on my nerves. And then anytime they need something, and they taking care of their kids, and they doing all this crazy stuff, and it's just like, leave that person alone. I am just loving this. And then it's a rainbow. Like, I love y'all. I love you. I just feel so happy and squishy. Where's my hug emoji? Look, hugs. Yeah, you know what I like about Fifi is even though she have time and she got that old timer mindset, she is very flexible and very up to date, and she's just like she's not militant. I like that about her, and I've peeped that like she is just recovery based, and it's no crazy theory. She's not a parakeet. I like that. But I love that phrase, take the cotton out your ears and put it in your mouth. That's one of the ones I love because a lot of them I don't like. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just like, oh my God, I understand them, but I don't say them. But I do like to take the cotton out your ears and put it in your mouth. And I like when they hear people talk about how they sponsors you to tell them, sit down, shut up, stupid. You don't know nothing. I'll be like, you know what? I don't know if I would have been able to take that. I think if someone would have so I um the cotton part. Um I was willing to shut up. I was willing to learn. I just told you I got like all these books. I mean books. I have like 15 AA related books that you can go buy from Central Office. I ain't even read half of them. I just got them. But I know because I can always pick it up. Since I've been sober, I have physically read or listened to, I've physically read the big book like 25 times. I have listened to it, like audio tapes of it, I want to say about maybe 40 times. So yeah, like, and every time I read the big book or every time I listen, I'll still pick up some new or yes, or something hits me different. And I read everything, but I do not, I will not, I cannot, I have not read all of To the Wives. And that's where I draw the line. I can't do that. I know stories in the back. I remember when I used to go to big book studies. I used it when they got to the wives part. I wouldn't go to those meetings. And I remember the girl that was sponsoring me at the time, me and her got into a big time about that. And I remember telling her, like, you can't tell me what I can and cannot relate to. I don't want to read it. I've read it. I don't want to read it. It does not apply to me. Oh yeah, my big book look like a college textbook. But I have a bunch of big books too. Because a lot of times when I do go to meetings or if people ask, I'll give them a big book. I am so happy. Well, I'm happy you're here. This is my first time around. But you know, your story keeps me here. I love to hear how people were able to persevere even though they had made mistakes on their journey. And see, you know what, Miss Fifi, and that's why I get it. Right? Some of the stuff I was like, man, these people tripping, and that's why I said what I said. Some people might be looking at our responses and our reactions and thinking that we're being cruel or beating up on the addict or being too hard. I only got 2 years and I've seen a lot. I'm dealing with someone right now. I want to go to a meeting. I'm like, I really been to no meetings. You go to a meeting. Go to club 24. I know you've been up there. They know you know me. They'll tell me you've been up there. Well, I want you to go with me. I'm working. Go anyway. My damn headphones went out again. Press one if y'all can hear me. So um yeah, so like I get it. I've made friends with people, we cool every time we see each other, we hug, and I'm newer than them, but they really open themselves up to me, and guys and women. And then, you know, I see them one day, they relapse, reintroduce themselves, and they like, I got it. You know, this December 23rd, they reintroduce themselves. December 25th, I'm getting a call that they done relapse and they ain't here with us no more. That's true. And my Miss Fifi, my sponsor actually talks about that. Like with me, I'm his baby. I'm his youngest sponsee. I'm not his only female sponsee, but I am his youngest sponsee. So I'm his baby. He says that is his baby. But he says the same thing. Like the way I've heard him talk to some of his male sponsees, I'm like, you mean? And he's like, well, I wouldn't talk to you that way. First of all, you're a female. And he's like, I'm them people I'm dealing with, they may be, you know, being on cocaine or crack or heroin, something like that. And their demeanor, they may need him to be like, look, I'm sick of your shit, you know? So, yeah. So he does everybody different, but he like, cause if he fussing me too much, I'll just start crying, and he be like, "What you crying for?" And I'll be like, "Cause you getting on my nerves." And then and guys, I don't want you to be offended if I get mad or I start fussing or I cry or something, and he know that I'm being a smart butt. He'll be like, "You see what I'm talking about? You need to go pray to Jesus and get yourself together." Cause he know when he say that, I be so mad when he say that to me. Because then he'd be like, look, you're prejudiced, you're biased. And that was a humbling experience for me. See, I'm telling y'all, this is recovery. This is what we go through. This is what we doing. That was a humbling experience for me because he kept telling me I'm biased. He kept telling me I was prejudiced against the God thing, and I really was. I'm gonna tell you, I had got to the point where I would cringe when people would stand up and they would be, proselytizing and preaching, and I had got to the point where I just walk out of meetings. Yes, I would just walk out of meetings, and he got a hold of me. He said, "We don't do that." He said, "Even when they're saying the Lord prayer, you stand up and you say whatever mantra or whatever you want to say, but you stand up and give them their respect." And I'm like, I don't want to hear this. And he's like, "I have Jewish sponsees, and they still have to stay for the Lord's prayer." And my sponsor's an atheist, but he is a hardcore old timer when it comes to Alcoholics Anonymous. Yes, he is, and that's why I always say he. Hey, Barbara, relapse is a part of recovery and growth. It is too, but you can't just be using it as a scapegoat. And sometimes I really can't stand when people they want the fellowship and they want the coddling and they want that friendship that you get from dealing with people in recovery, but they refuse to admit that they're an addict or alcoholic or that they're powerless. They're using you. You know what I'm saying? So they want certain parts of it, but like I've seen people come around, they say, I like being drunk. I like smoking this or doing. They like it. So if they like it, then you have nothing coming. You have nothing coming. And that's the part that bothers me. And I know I shouldn't be bothered because that's just the way the world is, but I only got 2 years. I'm still new. I'm a baby. So I do get bothered by those things. I don't have tough skin when it comes to that. And I don't feel like I should have to. Not when I'm fighting every day. Not just, oh, I'm fighting here and there. I fight every day. Every day I open my eyes and get through that day, I'm fighting. I don't like that. And I'm not talking specifically about nobody. And I want to say that because I'm not on that. I done did that. I'm done. I'm talking about what I've seen, what I'm dealing with a girl that wants me to sponsor her. I'm talking about what I've seen when I met girls and they wanted me to be their friend and they wasn't sure if they wanted to quit drinking. And my sponsor told me, he was like, listen, If you know somebody outside of AA and that's what they doing and they think they want to and they're not sure, that's fine. If you meet somebody in AA, you are not to be their friend. If it's not about recovery, you let them do them. And although I'm not really the type that's going to take on a lot of friends like that because I peep game, he nipped that in the bud. That girl ain't gonna read nothing. I had went and got this girl a big book. I got her a Living Sober book. I got her the 24 Hours book. I got her the One Day at a Time book. Because, like, when I work with people, like, even with my other sponsors, if they didn't have certain books, I got them for them and they doing good. But I went and got the books, went down to Central Office, and of course, I bought me a new book. And then I didn't hear from her. And so I still got the books. So when she ready, the books is there, but she ain't on that. As a matter of fact, she was just texting me. Let me see what she's talking about. I would like to see you guys. Miss Fifi, how should I respond to her? Because she's texting me now talking about some, I would like to see you guys. We're not going to hang out. Let's see. Monday, I get off work at 2:30. I'm just going to tell her she can meet me Monday at this 4:30 meeting because I get off work at 2:30. So I can probably just go hang out the coffee shop until it's time. I don't know. She, like I said, she asked me about a meeting, and I don't want to make her feel like I don't want to be bothered. She texted me a while ago, but I'm busy with y'all. But I just told her she want to see me. She can meet me Monday. Right, and that's what I was talking about. Rainbows before you come in. I touched on that we don't waste our time, and so like I think that's the problem, especially for people who are not addicts, and they might sometimes think that we're being harsh, but we're not. It's like, okay, you playing games. You playing games. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to separate ourselves. I don't think Fifi want my troubles. See, I got on here. I try not to be vulgar because some of the people that follow me are like, I don't. I mean, they know I curse, but I try not to be vulgar and belligerent. I don't know. Let's see. Fifi, will you be my sponsor? I don't call a lot though. Like, because I don't like talking on the phone like that. But like, and I think that's the thing too. Like everybody I run into, if you want what I got, you gotta do what I do, and you gotta call me, and I want updates. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't. And the last lady I had was trying to work with, she was awesome, but then she kept telling me to pray, and I was just like, I'm so uncomfortable, and I'm like, I don't do it like you guys do it. And I think she was just so used to doing it because she was like 29 years sober. And so I think she was just so used to talking that way that maybe she didn't know how to switch it up for me. I'm telling you, I am so low maintenance. And that was one of her issues too. She's like, you don't never call me. You only call me like once or twice a week. And I'm like, because I don't be having nothing to talk about. Thank you. Ma, can you send me $20? Didn't I tell? Wait a minute. 2 hours ago, I was talking about my daughter and how she got paid and how she was like, I was like, you gonna give me some money, joke or whatever. She was like, yeah. And I'm like, how much you make? And she was like, none of your business. Then she was like, it was over 200. Didn't I just say she was gonna be asking me for some money? She didn't even last the whole day. Now I'm about to irritate her and make her mad. Like, what do you need money for? I don't get paid from both jobs until next Friday. She tripping. Okay, Miss Fifi. Y'all just seen her turn me down, right? Wait a minute, hold on. I kind of went away from the comments. Double Rainbows, thank you so much. I am, girl, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I kept so many secrets and was hurting myself so much. Like, I just don't be caring. Like, it is what it is. I spent that on something because, yeah, what? She just told me she spent her money on something that was important. That's fine. That's fine. I think you should. But I always tell people up front, like, I'm not, I just don't be on the phone stuff. I mean, as you can see outside of, doing my lives on YouTube, which I probably wouldn't do to be doing this next Friday I'm off, so I probably would. But like on the weekends that I really have to work or different things like that, I wouldn't be sitting up like this. Like I got to be to work at 7 in the morning, but tomorrow's Saturday, and um, I'm really not going to be doing a lot of work, so I'm okay. But yeah, I'm just not. I'd rather FaceTime and talk to somebody than to just sit on the phone. But I get that. I mean, because like I'm the same way, believe it or not. Like when people come to me and they want to associate with me and they talk about, like with the girl I'm telling you about now, I'm kind of just like, I need to see. Are you willing to go through any lengths to do this? I'm not just. I've done that and people to cut a fool on me. Now I got to see if you're willing to be serious about it, and if you're going to do this when I'm not available, are you still going to go to meetings? Are you still going to work on your recovery? Are you still going to do the things that you need to do to keep so? Because I'm not going to always be available. I'm younger. I work. I have a family. So just like I need to teach you how to still live every day in recovery. Okay, cool. That's baby steps right there. I know because I was trying to, get close to a lady. Um, she stayed down south. And it just started feeling like we were talking, whatever, and I was trying to call her. And it started feeling like, though, she had a lot going on. Whatever y'all want to do. I don't have no female sober support, believe it or not. Everybody I associate with is men. Yeah, however, like, sober support is always great for me. My daughter just told me, and I asked her, I said, what you spend your money on? Or I'm not giving it to you. She's like, Mom, I bought you a sober bursary gift. I was so sweet. But she should have did that. I told her not to do that. Now, Raven, I don't have a lot going on. I mean, like, my biggest things be like my husband. That's my biggest complaint. That's my issue. My husband. Outside of that, I'm like a very boring person. Yeah, I'm very boring. Right. You know what's the funniest thing is when my sponsees sponsees come and they see me and they're like, and I'm young, and you're like, you're my grand sponsor, and I'm like, that just sounds so old. No offense, but right, it just seems so weird when they say it. Okay, so double rainbows. The name that you do, if you have Instagram, this name is my Instagram name, and then also my email. I'm about to type it because that's my email. Yeah, that's how it is. Cause like one of my sponsees, because I have fell back from doing the meetings. Um, she know I'm still available, but I fell back from doing the meetings and stuff. She she went to my sponsor, so I'm now her. Well, she don't like the co-sponsor thing. So like my sponsor, who's a grand sponsor, is taking my place. But every time I be like, "Well, I'm not your sponsor anymore," she flips out like that is not true. So you know what I'm saying? So like he's stepping in where he know I fell back. Okay, yeah, because it's almost half me to get off of here. Uh, Roger just posted a video. Let me get off here, go in here and take a shower and go to bed. And I gotta be right back up. I don't think I'm getting up to like 6 in the morning. I'll get up at about 6. I ain't gonna get up crazy early. Because I had did all my laundry, folded all my stuff, so I don't have to do that. And I don't think I'm gonna take my work bag in the house. So I probably won't go live again till sometime next week. I may do a video. So I really hope someone gets some insight from here or a laugh or whatever. Like I said, I wanted to talk about recovery, but in a real sense, and just tell parts of my story and tell people things about me and how I'm still going through this process. And if you're not religious in the beginning, that's okay. You can still get sober. Um, if you're gay, single, whatever, lesbian, you can get sober. There are so many different programs out there to help you. Yes, and yeah, you're gonna have to, cause like I'll forget. That's another thing about me too. I forget, and once I tell you, you get to know me, you know I forget. If I don't write it down, it's out my brain because I have ADHD. So yeah, I forget. But you don't like for those, and I always say this. I always make sure I say this in my videos. You do not have to suffer alone. You can get help with sobriety and recovery, and no one has to know about it. You can get mental health help, and no one has to know about it. I make sure I post all the links to all the information that I post personally know. And when I learn new stuff and when I get updates, I update my description. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. It was such a pleasure meeting you. And I got to give you some internet squishy hugs. And I can't wait to make that connection with you. So this is just epic on so many levels. And this is what again, like what I want people to be able to see. Because these are the things, this is what recovery is. And Fifi, I love me some Miss Fifi. Right. Yes, that is so true. And so I just either way, like, but that's why I make sure I do the other programs, because I did kind of branch out myself for those same reasons. And there's other things out here, like you do have like we agnostics and different things like that. And do you still have other branches that are not, they consider themselves secular, but they still follow everything in a big book. So like it's so many different resources out here. And that's why I try to make myself available, and I'm very open about, getting in contact with me, and I'm trying to make sure I have the information to let people know, like, I'm being a voice for y'all, but no one has to know. Yep, see? And then you change. So many people go through so many phases in their life, they change. Like, when I talk about my sponsor, he's an atheist. When he came in, he believed in God and the Bible and stuff. Everybody changes, you know what I'm saying? But he changed for the good, because he's phenomenal. When I tell you, I done seen him sit up and have a scriptural conversation with people. I mean, that man knows the Bible. He is crazy. So yeah, so that's why I wanted to make sure that people know. Like, you can click those links. I don't know you're clicking those links. No one else knows that you're clicking those links. You know, no one has to know that you're going to see a therapist or whatever. That if you're married and you don't even want your spouse to know, if you can afford it, you can pay for private sessions. And there are a lot of therapists out here that are very, very inexpensive, especially if you're dealing with someone with a private practice. You can find a therapist that best suits you. You know, if you want a black therapist, if you want a homosexual therapist, if you want a male, if you want a female, like, it's so many ways to get out here and get help and save yourself physically and mentally. And that's why I post what I post, because at least you can start there. And even if you want to hit me up and ask me, I say it all the time, ask me, I will respond. I'll try to figure out what I can. If I don't know and I don't know what to do, I send you to somebody else. That's also why I post a lot of those recovery channels, because some of don't people have way much more time than me, and they can give you an insight that I can't. They may know other programs that I don't know about. Like, I just started Life Ring, just trying to look into the Life Ring thing, and that was because I was listening to someone else's channel. The lady's name is Fostering Resilience, by the way. That's her channel's name, Fostering Resilience. So it's so much out there, and I'm willing to share it. Yeah, yeah, and it's important. It's very important. So, guys, with that being said, I'm gonna go in here because I want to be asleep by 12. 6 hours of sleep is usually good enough for me. And so I'm gonna look at my family before I go to bed, and I know they're gonna be mad, but they know I was going live. So thank you guys for coming. I'm so happy I've met so many new people in recovery. I'm so excited. I got some new subs. I really appreciate that. Welcome to Doing It For Real. That's why I got my name. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your knowledge. Um, you are now a true part of my recovery, and I embrace you. I can't speak for nobody else. I embrace you. Double Rainbows, thank you. So happy to meet you. I don't know where my mom at. She probably went to bed because she go to bed early. My internet mom. She go to bed early. She always went to bed early. She used to fall asleep on me. My ass be drunk talking. She would fall asleep on me. Thank you for coming through. She texted me this morning, so I text back. Rod, thank you for coming through. Barbara, all things petty. All teens petty. Thank you for coming through. Miss Pam, a view is a view. Thank you for coming through. There's some people that's off in the cut. I know they shouldn't. Thank you for coming through and listening to Clouds. To everyone who shared this long live, thank you. To everyone in the future who may just hop in and red ball to hear what they want to hear, thank you. I don't care if you watch for 30 seconds. Thank you. I appreciate it. I love everyone. And I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend. Take it easy on yourself, and love someone else. And just remember, it ain't that serious. Good night.